I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into the whimsical and inspiring world of SHMUG-A-LA Tames the Shmovid Monster by Jane Carey. It is a creative children's story that introduces SHMUG-A-LA, a fun-loving character, a Whach-a-ma-call-it, who helps a young boy conquer life's challenges with imagination and positivity. This book is perfect for children and readers of all ages. It is a heartwarming story that delivers a powerful message about shifting focus and embracing joy, even during tough times. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Books to Life Marketing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Jane, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for inviting me, Logan.
It's my pleasure. This is quite a story, quite unique characters you have come up with here. Where did you get the idea for SHMUG-A-LA?
It all started with telling my grandson bedtime stories. And I just needed a character that was fun and funny and captured his imagination. And I remembered my older brother, telling our younger sister bedtime stories. And it fascinated me at the time that he could make up stories that captivated her. And his character was named Snoogles, and mine was named SHMUG-A-LA. So that's how it all began.
That's funny. SHMUG-A-LA almost sounds like some kind of Yiddish monster. You find in New York City, he's a SHMUG-A-LA. You know? But it's wonderful, and it does make you laugh and does make you smile just to say the name. And the Shmovid monster, again, sounds like Yiddish. Almost sounds a little bit like COVID, which was the thing that we were all afraid of.
Yes.
Tell us about the Shmovid monster.
Well, the Shmovid monster was actually based on COVID. During the COVID lockdown, I was dismayed watching the effect it had on many children, the kind of a cloud of dullness and loneliness and gloom that settled over a lot of children. And so I thought, well, there are other things that could do that too. If COVID was going to be short-lived, the lockdown. So my character has several things going on in his life that are limiting him. He has a broken leg, he has the flu, there's a severe weather thing going on, a hurricane or something, and he can't go outside, he can't have friends over. So it can have the same limiting effect on children and on their response to life when they're not stimulated. Yeah. So I thought, well, I set about to build a story that had a boy that had all those things wrong with him and was just down and so bored and couldn't see any way out of his situation. And so SHMUG-A-LA comes along, and SHMUG-A-LA jumps off a book he just read. And it's actually a figment of his own imagination that desperately tries to stir his imagination up again and help him to overcome this cloud of negativity, which is the Shmovid monster.
Wonderful. COVID Shmovid, that's what it sounds like. You like the heck with COVID, get the monsters out of the way. I think that's great. And I think we all needed a SHMUG-A-LA around 2020, but we can use one now too, that's for sure, right?
Yes. Well, one thing I wanted to say is I've had many adults contact me telling me that the book impacted them and calling me and telling me I need SHMUG-A-LA right now. So
absolutely. Yeah, we need a little SHMUG-A-LA just this very minute. I could sing about it, write a song. That's for sure. Wonderful. So this was born out of a story you told to your granddaughter, you said, right?
My grandson.
Grandson.
I would tell him three SHMUG-A-LA stories a night. He demanded it. And they were all different. I'd make up different ones every night. Finally, one day, I wrote one down, and then I read it to him as a book, and he said, "Mimi, you wrote that?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You have to write more." So that's what birthed my desire. Okay, I'm going to write children's books.
Out of the mouths of babes, as they say, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. So once the book was completed and published and you got it in your hand, more than just a handwritten copy, what was your grandson's reaction when Shmugala became a real book?
He was so thrilled. He was
Yeah,
beaming from ear to ear. And
wonderful.
we would make up Schmuggler stories in a car ride. I got him involved. Okay, I would start the story and I would say, well, now what should happen? And now what should happen to try to stir his imagination to make up stories.
Great, great. That's wonderful. And that makes it
I do that,
interactive. Yeah,
I do that with my granddaughter now, his
yeah.
younger sister. She loves Schmuggler.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you said you told your grandson a bunch of Shmugala stories. So are we anticipating perhaps down the road there will be other adventures of Shmugala?
Oh, yes. I'm writing one right now. I'm writing about three of them right now. And so they'll be coming out probably in the next year.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's got to be a lot of fun. And I'm sure you got the grandkids involved as well. They're a great test market. You know, other people have to get hire research marketing firms. You've got grandkids.
Right, right.
Cheaper and more fun. That's for sure.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Have you envisioned the Shmugala stories as perhaps a series on cartoons or animation features?
I think that would be very fun because each story has a lesson in it. And it would be a lesson that comes through fun, which is easier to accept lessons that come when you're having fun with it. And
Absolutely.
kids can watch the series and walk away with a new tool in their toolbox for life.
Absolutely. What's the message, and how do you empower children in Shmugala and the Shmovid monster?
The message is life has its ups and downs.
Mhm.
And when you're going through a time period when things aren't going the way you'd like them, maybe some negative things are in your life, like here's a broken leg and the flu and weather. Don't focus on them. You can still have fun in the midst of negative stuff that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
And when you change your focus and your perspective, you have a whole new world in front of you and not
Yeah.
just a gloomy world. So I think it builds resistance in children if they can get that concept.
Sure. It's the power of reframing. It's all how you look at things that makes
Yes.
all the difference in the world, for sure. The illustrations are beautiful. Tell us about those.
The illustrations, I connected up with a woman in Malaysia, and it
Mhm.
was so much fun to work with her. We just had such a great connection, and she had a daughter, and her daughter loved the story, and so she's an architect, and who decided to do children's book illustrations, and I just really enjoyed working with her.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you would describe what you wanted, you would send the text over of the book, and then you guys would bounce ideas off each other. Is that how it worked?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there a favorite scene or moment in Shmugala and the Shmovid Monster that you particularly like?
Well, I love the scene when he's sitting in bed, the opening, when he's just so bored and miserable, and everything just seems so awful to him. And suddenly he hears a voice that says, boredom is boring, but fun is a choice. And he's just, what was that? And it startled him into awareness that there could be choices when you're going through a rough time.
Exactly. We can choose our reaction, we can choose our focus, and those are great life skills that children, if they learn at a younger age, might carry with them into adulthood because almost everything we learn in life seems to be ingrained in our brains from those first 18 years. And it's hard to unlearn those lessons, you know?
I was a counselor,
Hmm.
and so I spent many hours with people sitting opposite me on a chair while we tried to sort out the wrong lessons they learned
Yeah.
and try to show them other paths
Yeah.
to replace those negative lessons they learned.
Yep, this is great. It's great reprogramming for a child's brain, no doubt. I also think what's great about this book is if your child seems down or a little sad or a little depressed or just kind of blah, you can read the story to your child and maybe provoke a conversation, right? It's a good
Yeah.
conversation starter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably part of your content is to build a good rapport between parent and child or caregiver and child.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Tell us a little
And
bit about, okay, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and again, I wanted to mention how it's affecting adults. They're telling me when they read it, it's like, oh my gosh, that got me through a really rough time I was having, and
Yeah,
things like that.
exactly. I think you're going to have to come up with some merchandise, some schmuggalas that people can hugala,
I
and
would love to do that.
that'd be
Love that.
wonderful.
What
And
I did when these adults called me is I would counsel them a little bit on the phone.
Mhm.
Then I would send them a Schmugala Cares package, like the old care package you used to get in the mail many, many years ago.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And what kind of goodies would you include in that care package?
Well, since they were all adults, I would always put a journal in there and a pen and encourage them to journal their feelings, journal their journey right now,
Great.
and put everything in there, and to then write positive things that they think they could do during this time, even though they can't change what's going on. And depending on, I sent one person a little guitar thing. What do you call those?
Like a ukulele or something?
No, a little thing that you
Oh,
use.
guitar pick?
Yes,
Okay,
because I knew he played guitar. He had
great.
his guitar with him, and it's just little things to change their focus. A book.
Absolutely. No, that's great. The journal's a great idea. The guitar pick is a good idea. Pick up that guitar pick, start playing again, and your sadness and your worries and your troubles will wash away. You said they were all adults, so of course I packed in their care package. Right away, I thought whiskey. And see, that's you're a much better person than me. You give a journal, I'd have given them booze. And that would have been the wrong thing to give, of course. But that's wonderful. You've done great work on this book. It's going to help a lot of children. It's going to help a lot of people. It already is, and there are more adventures coming. The book we've been focusing on today is called Shmugga-La Tames the Shmovid Monster. It's written by Jane Carey. It is a creative children's story that introduces a fun-loving character named Shmugga-La who helps a young boy conquer life's challenges with imagination and positivity. It's a wonderful read. It's a wonderful book. It'll help you forget your troubles and focus on that half full glass and not that half empty glass. Jane, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan.
I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.